Well, I'm glad you all loved hearing me just completely suck Scream Six's dick. And if you're still here at this point, thank you, because I am very excited to talk about how I feel about Scream 7. So let's talk about what I think Scream 7 should do. Since we're at like this trend of these new Scream movies, kind of rehashing previous ones. Technically, we're like in a new trilogy, I feel like, because with Scream 5, they were kind of rehashing Scream 1. Scream 6 was rehashing Scream 2. So, I don't mind this trend, and obviously, this is all just what I think Scream 7 should do, because who knows what they'll do, because I'm pretty sure we're getting a Scream 7 after the success of Scream 6. I do think they should rehash Scream 3, and I say this because this has been my theory ever since Scream 5 came out. Ever since I've read the original script of Scream 5, and I feel like they're slowly hinting things for Scream 7 ever since Scream 5. I do not know if anyone else thinks this way. I've yet to see if anyone has caught on to this, but personally, I think Tara is the mastermind behind all of this. Why do I think that? Well, I personally think Tara, Amber, and Richie planned all of this. Because in the original Scream 5 script, it had turned out that Amber and Tara were girlfriends. And I think they took that out of Scream 5 for a reason. Because I think they're trying to set something up for Scream 7. I say this because I just feel like it would be pretty clever for us to, this whole time, with two movies, thinking that she is this survivor and she was actually the killer the whole time. But I'll try my best to quickly make sense of this, because I know you might be thinking like, what? No, that doesn't make sense. Well, I think Tara planned to get Sam back to Woodsboro by planning her attack, because we never actually see Tara get rescued. We just see her get attacked, and then we just kind of cut to the Scream title card, and then she's just like in the hospital. And every time Tara has a chance to being killed, especially in Scream 5, she isn't. So I feel like her and Amber planned everything. And it's possible that maybe Amber may have actually fell in love with Richie. Maybe her and Amber found Richie somehow, and Amber ended up actually having the hots for him, because it would obviously not make sense seeing that it just seemed like it was only Amber and Richie, but I personally think Tara was involved. Even though everything in Scream 6, I think Tara did not plan. I think she was completely caught off guard with everything in Scream 6 with Richie's family, that after she killed Ethan, it was like this awakening for her to finally become a killer, because when she kills Ethan, she looks a little too excited to do it. And I'll explain everything else as I talk about how I think Scream 7 should go. So personally, I think Tara is the mastermind behind all of this. Obviously, with Scream 6, I liked how it's 1 year later, that takes place in college. So with Scream 7, what I think they should do is possibly do a time jump. I think we should cut to 2026, because it'll be 30 years since the original Scream. I just would rather have Tara and Sam be full-on adults, and I think that there should be another stab film in the making. So technically, I kind of want them to sort of rehash Scream 3, but not completely. And I know some people may not agree, but this is the only reason I think, this is the only way I think they can do it, because there's always commentary, right? There's always commentary with Scream 5 about requels, Scream 6 about franchises. I think Scream 7 should be about ending trilogies again, because that's also kind of like the trend now with the Halloween requels to the new Star Wars sequel trilogy. And I can see like Mindy being involved this time, and her being like, this is the third chapter in a trilogy, and this is the one where all the fans are gonna hate it or something. I don't know. Not saying that they should like intentionally try and make a bad movie, but they should kind of joke about that, considering that obviously Halloween Ends and Rise of Skywalker were, not necessarily liked by a lot of people. So I think they should try and make a new stab film. I don't know if it should be about, the events of Scream 5 and Scream 6, or it should be about just like another stab film, because I think what they should do for the opening in Scream 7 is they should have a fake out opening, kind of reduce Scream 4 in a bit. I think we should have a scene where they get to either a girl or a guy. They get a phone call, they end up actually killing Ghostface, so it's like shocking, and then it turns out they're on like a movie set, and then it turns out they're filming a stab movie. So I think that would be really clever. especially if it ends with, it's like funny that we think, oh, that we thought this was like a real opening, and then after, whoever the actor is, they leave the set and then they're killed off in real life. And that's another thing, is before I get to maybe Tara's possible motive, I'm not too sure if it would only be Tara doing the killings, especially since her and Chad, it looks like they're setting them up to be together. And I don't know, could Chad possibly be a killer? I mean, I don't know if anyone would want to see that, but that's the point of taking risks, right? With these requel trilogies, they're always taking these really big risks. I definitely think we should go back to Hollywood, like in Scream 3, go back to Hollywood, maybe possibly go back and forth into Woodsboro. It would also be really funny if we got a Tori Spelling cameo, because I think it'd be funny if people were like, they made a new Stab film, but they hated it because it's the one where Sydney's not in it. See, like, it'd be like, joking about Scream 6. Speaking of Sydney, I definitely think she needs to come back, because I just want her to be like, fuck this, we need to end all of this. Her and Gale. I want her and Gale to have such a strong relationship. I want them to be more like sisters this time around, especially Kirby. I want all three of them to be together, and possibly Mark. I would absolutely love for Patrick Dempsey to come back as Mark, and maybe possibly kill him off just to bring up stakes. That's another thing I think they should do, is with Martha. I think if we come back to Woodsboro, we should have Martha Meeks come back, and she definitely should be killed off, just to really like bring up the stakes and, have more rage for Mindy and Chad, or possibly just Mindy, since Chad and Tara are together, and I personally think Tara is the killer, maybe kill her off, and then, definitely have a reason for Mindy to want to kill Ghostface this time. Now, that's the thing too, I haven't talked about her yet, but Sam. They do kind of set a lot of things up with Sam and making her possibly be a killer. I don't think she should be a killer, but I wouldn't mind dipping more into the psychology of her character, because maybe that can be the thing, is maybe Tara is really trying to frame Sam for everything. Definitely gotta know more about Christina, Tara and Sam's mom. Definitely we gotta know more about her, have her be involved, have her interact with Sydney. I can see her being, because they make her sound like she's like this drunk, I can see her being like rude to Sydney, and Sydney just kind of like being shit over with her. So yeah, definitely have Christina come back, and we got to get to know who she is. That's the thing now, because like I've already mentioned all these characters. Also, I forgot to mention Danny. Definitely bring back Sam's new boyfriend Danny, and possibly kill him off as well. We're already looking at people I'd want to see back, obviously, as Sam, Tara, Mindy, Chad, Danny, Sydney, Gale, Mark, Kirby, and Martha, and their mom, Christina. I feel like that's already a lot of people, so I don't know if we really could add any more new people. I don't know if that'll feel like too many people in the movie, but we shall see. Another thing that I think would be pretty big here is knowing a bit more about Jason and Greg. We didn't really get to know a whole lot about them, so it'd be interesting just to kind of know who they were and know about their parents. That's another interesting thing I've noticed, is we never really get to know about like the parents of the Ghostface killers, like Stu's family, Charlie's family. So it'd be interesting to know, like, how do they stand in all this, the fact that their children are killers. I think that'd be really interesting to dive into. So other than that, that's the only thing I can think of for like plot wise, is I think that they should be making another Stab film. Sydney should be involved, and she's involved because she just wants to end all of this, her and Gale and Kirby. And then Sam, Tara, Mindy, and Chad are getting attacked. But like I said, I think Tara is behind all this, and I say this because I think Tara is the Roman of the franchise. As we all know, Roman was Sydney's half-brother, and he, the reason why he had done all of this was to get back at Sydney for her having the life he would never got to live. And I think that's kind of the thing here with Tara, since we find out that Sam is the daughter of Billy Loomis, and she left after she found out about that. I think Tara wants revenge for Sam leaving her, and for leaving her with a drunk mom, and for having this legacy of all these, weirdos and all these Stab fans coming after hers. I think that's the only reason why this is all happening in the first place. I think Tara and Amber planned to get Sam back in, and so they wanted to find someone on Reddit, which they found Richie, and he found his way through Sam, and then having Tara fake her attack. And that might be a thing people argue, is like, well, why would she fake her attack? I think she did it because she wanted it to feel real. I mean, if you kept stabbing somebody who's willing to play along, it's gonna look real. And so when she's screaming and crying, those are real reactions. But like I said, we never actually see her get rescued. I can easily see once the police got there, she probably told whoever was in the mask, I'm assuming it was Richie or maybe Amber, to tell him to leave, so whenever the police got there, it can look like Ghostface got away. Same thing with in the hospital. Whenever Tara was there with Richie and Samantha in the hospital and Sam got attacked by Ghostface, Richie was with Tara that whole time. I think Tara probably told Richie to go scare Sam with the Ghostface costume. I might be jumping ahead here and thinking too hard because maybe they weren't even thinking that hard. I personally think this has been her plan the whole time. Maybe even when she forgot her inhaler in Scream 5, I'm sure that was probably even planned. So I never have trusted Tara ever since. I've thought this theory since Scream 5. So ever since Scream 6 came along, I was always thinking like, well, what is Tara up to this time? And every time Sam is getting attacked, Tara is there for the rescue, but I don't think she's there to rescue her. I think she's there to make sure that she gets to kill her. So with these new killers in Scream 6, I think that Tara's reaction is legit because she's probably thrown off. She wasn't planning to kill Sam yet, so who are all these new people? So after all of this stuff happened, and whenever they got to see the shrine and then Tara got all upset, so I feel like they're slowly just dipping all these things, and she's just tired of being a part of all this. And that's why she blames Sam for it. She blames Samantha for being the daughter of Billy Loomis and for leaving her with her drunk mom. So I think Tara will kill her mom, and then she'll try to frame Sam for it or just try to kill her. But people are interested in seeing Sam turn into a killer. I don't think she should necessarily turn into a killer, but I'm up for the idea of her. I do like the idea of how she doesn't mind killing people. So I think when Sidney comes in, to save the day, obviously to end all this shit, I can easily see like Tara maybe finally revealing herself to Sam, and then Sidney coming in, and they can like kind of redo like the scene like whenever Randy and Stu are asking Sidney for help, and I can see them like crying to Sidney, telling her like, no, Tara's the killer, kill her. And I can see Sidney just like fucking shooting them both in the leg or something because she just can't trust anyone. And that's also another thing is like, obviously Tara is very small, so I'm sure people can probably point out. So like I said, maybe if we bring in new characters, she'll probably find a way to manipulate whoever is here this time to kill for her. Or like I said, possibly even manipulate Chad to kill for her. But I don't know if I can see that happening because obviously Chad is like too lovable, but it would definitely be a risk and it would definitely get people talking because like I said, that's like the trend with all these final chapters in these new requels is they always do something that's like taking a big risk. Obviously people didn't like Halloween Ends because of the Corey stuff. People didn't like Rise of Skywalker for fucking God knows what. It was too many things, but there's just a lot of things going on here. But like I said, there's a lot of, this is just a theory, right? This is just me speculating because obviously I can be completely wrong for whatever the hell they're really planning to do. Obviously with these new Stab movies, we all know that they stopped making Stab movies about the real events since Stab 3 because Sidney didn't want them using her stories. And with these new Stab films, I think that's also what triggers Tara to be a killer again because she doesn't want the Stab movie. She hates the Stab movies. I think that's also something is she wants to end all this. And it'd also be kind of a win, right? Obviously with these fucking Jenna Ortega stans, like I think she's a cool chick, but her fans, man, they're probably in all honesty, they're probably the reason why these Scream movies are even doing so well is because she's in them. So it'd be like a win-win if she is the killer. And that's also another thing is I definitely think with Scream 7 that it needs to be the end. It needs to be the end of this franchise because I don't want them to make Scream films just to make Scream films. Make Scream films because they matter. Because like I've already seen like theories of people saying like, oh, they should have Scream 7 take place on a beach or take place in like the snow and take place in a cabin or something. And I'm like, no, like I don't care for it to be like gimmicky. I don't want Scream to be gimmicky. Just make it important and have commentary of how horror is today, and then fucking make Scream films in the next 30 years, however horror has changed by then. But who knows what they might do. I can tell that people are enjoying this like Sam and Tara bond, and they like how they're all together. I've even heard this like really funny theory, because stay tuned for next episode. I'll be giving my spoiler-free thoughts on Beau is Afraid, and that movie was just a lot, so stay tuned for that. Parker Posey, who was Jennifer in Scream 3, but Parker Posey was in Beau is Afraid, and obviously we also know her as Jennifer from Scream 3. There's like this theory I heard of, I'd never heard of until now, that they think that Jennifer is still alive. And honestly, I'm down for that. I love Jennifer from Scream 3. I thought she was really funny. So fuck it, I don't see her why they shouldn't bring her back either. Since fucking Chad and Tara can survive all those stabbings, she was only stabbed twice? Fuck it, bring her back, I don't care. Like I said, that's the thing, all this is just speculation. Who knows what they're gonna plan to do. Obviously, I do think that Radio Silence should still be involved because I think they're still doing a great job. At this point, I've just accepted that they're never going to be Wes Craven. They're never going to be able to know how his craft and know how he did things, and I'm happy with their style and how they're punning everything. So I absolutely loved Radio Silence, and I love what they're doing with the Scream franchise because those are really big shoes to fill. And the fact that I think they're doing it so well right now is just excellent. So hopefully they do come back, because everything you hear online is just rumors, but I've been hearing that they're already looking for possibly different writers and a different director, but who knows, because no one really knows. I guess to closing thoughts, the only thing I can think of for Scream 7 is obviously, of course, I'm up for different things, like the cool idea of bringing all these different masks from Scream 6. Like, I'm perfectly fine with Ghostface wearing a different mask. We all know that really badass devil looking Dead by Daylight one. That's a cool one. I think they should definitely bring in. Or fucking give Ghostface a different weapon too. Everyone got all pissed off he used a shotgun. I don't give a shit. Give fucking Ghostface a chainsaw. I don't care. Of course, as long as he's, calling people and stabbing people with a knife, I'm not afraid of any other weapons. Change shit up. I also do kind of miss whenever they would bring trivia into the Scream movie. That's why I really love that Scream 5 did it, but I'm so glad they also acknowledged that obviously with the internet, people can just look the answers up. So I don't mind that. That's why they kind of got rid of trivia after Scream 5 and throughout the franchise, because it's easier now. But I feel like they should find a way for Ghostface to still do trivia in a way, because Tara definitely knew her stuff, but when it came to knowing about the Stab movie, she all of a sudden didn't know anything. But whenever she knew about modern horror and elevated horror, she actually knew a lot. So it's not like Tara doesn't know her stuff. That's pretty much all I can think of for Scream 7, guys. If you have any theories, what do you think they should do for Scream 7? I would love to know. I think it's really fun that we're still even talking about the Scream movies today, and that they're relevant and they're actually really good. I definitely think Wes Craven would be so proud, and I'm glad that at least Kevin Williamson is still involved with the franchise. If you like this clip, you can listen to the full version on my brand new podcast, The Final Stab, where I talk about horror movies. First 4 episodes are out now. That's all I can think of. Sorry if this was really long and if anything was really messy, but I had a really, really fun time. So hopefully any other Scream fans up in here listening had a good time listening to me. I'm so happy and I can't wait to do this again. Stay tuned for next week. Definitely we'll be talking about how I felt about Evil Dead Rise and Beau is Afraid. And I think the topic will probably be of what I think of horror television series. I also plan to have my buddies Sam, Anthony, and Chai on here. You might recognize them from either podcast episodes or other videos on the channel, and we've been planning to talk about our worst movie theater experiences, and that'll be a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for listening. Wherever you're listening, whether this is YouTube or Spotify, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Really helps the channel. Don't forget to comment anything. I would love to talk about other stuff. And you can also follow me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at xthescreamking. Thank you guys for much for listening, and see you later.